Most balcony plant guides are written for ground floor gardens. Above the 5th floor, wind isn't a gentle breeze. It's a continuous, dehydrating force that shreds leaves, snaps stems, and pulls moisture out of soil twice as fast as any summer drought. Every high-rise balcony creates its own microclimate, a distinct environment shaped by altitude, building geometry, and sustained airflow that ground-level container gardening advice simply doesn't account for. These are the 10 best wind-proof balcony plants for high-rise apartments, ranked from reliably tough all the way up to genuinely indestructible. Before we get into the full list, 2 things are worth knowing up front. The plant that arrives at number 3 on this countdown is a variety that professional rooftop landscapers across Europe, Australia, and coastal California have quietly specified on high-floor terrace projects for over a century. And almost nobody shopping at a standard nursery ever thinks to ask for it by name. And the plant at number 1, the very top of this list, doesn't merely survive a high-rise wind tunnel. Horticultural research confirms it actually prefers one. What makes it genuinely remarkable is that the conditions destroying every other plant on a high floor are precisely the conditions that trigger it to grow. Make sure you subscribe before we get into the list. We post practical high-rise gardening content every week, putting real information in the hands of people who actually grow in apartments. And I'd love to have you on this journey with us. Let's get into it. These are the 10 best wind-proof balcony plants for high-rise apartments, ranked from solid all the way up to absolutely bulletproof. Number 10. Lavender, botanically known as lavandula. The aromatic workhorse that most high-rise gardeners give up on too early. Lavender has been grown on exposed Mediterranean coastal slopes and hillside terraces for thousands of years, wild environments where wind is the default condition, not a seasonal inconvenience. Professional balcony landscapers across southern France and northern Spain have placed it on high-floor terrace projects for generations, and it remains the entry point for almost every wind-exposed container scheme to this day. Horticultural research confirms that lavender's woody base and narrow silver-gray leaves are structural adaptations to constant air movement. The narrow leaf profile presents minimal surface area to sustained wind, and the woody stems flex without snapping under pressure. Studies show that established lavender loses significantly less moisture under high-velocity conditions, a process called evapotranspiration, than broadleaf alternatives of comparable size. That's an advantage that compounds with every hot, windy afternoon at height. Most lavandula varieties are reliably hardy through USDA zones 5 to 8, which means they handle genuine frost without the protection that softer herbs require. The catch is establishment. New lavender needs roughly 6 weeks to anchor its root system before it handles serious wind exposure reliably. After that window, consistent dehydrating gusts actually improve it. Wet soil is the one condition that kills lavender, not wind. It's sitting in a garden center within walking distance of where you are right now, and it's far more comfortable on a high floor than the label will ever tell you. Number 9. Thyme, Thymus vulgaris. The low-growing herb that handles high floor conditions better than plants twice its price. Thyme evolved on rocky, windswept slopes across southern Europe and the Levant, environments so demanding that it had to build its own wind resistance into its architecture. A low, spreading form keeps the plant below the worst of the draft. Small, waxy leaves seal moisture in under-sustained pressure. A root system that anchors into thin, stony substrate with exceptional grip. Research in urban horticulture confirms what professional rooftop growers have known for decades. Thyme's waxy leaf coating reduces moisture loss, limiting evapotranspiration under high-velocity airflow, while its creeping growth habit keeps the plant below the balcony railing, which on a high floor acts as a meaningful partial windbreak and creates a slightly sheltered microclimate for the soil surface directly behind it. There's a practical bonus here too. Thyme produces a harvestable crop, which makes it one of the more economically useful plants on this entire list. Productive and indestructible is a combination worth getting into a pot. It's small, inexpensive, and almost certainly available within 10 minutes of wherever you're sitting right now. Number 8. Ornamental grass, specifically blue fescue or Karl Foerster feather reed grass, the plant that professional rooftop landscapers put in before anything else. Here's what most people miss. Every other plant on this list survives wind by resisting it. Ornamental grass does something more sophisticated. It moves with the wind. The flexible, aerodynamic blades bend under pressure and spring back without damage, dissipating force rather than absorbing it. Professional landscapers on projects from Chicago rooftops to Singapore high-rises use ornamental grass as the structural anchor of wind-exposed plantings precisely because of this. Planted densely, taller varieties also function as a living windbreak, reducing wind velocity and moderating the microclimate for smaller plants positioned behind them. Horticultural research confirms that grass species selected for exposed sites show dramatically lower transplant shock and physical damage under high-velocity airflow compared to rigid-stemmed ornamentals of the same installation size. Karl Foerster specifically holds its upright structure in consistent wind far better than its profile suggests. Festuca glauca is reliably hardy from USDA zones 4 through 8. One of the wider hardiness ranges on this list. The visual effect at height is genuinely striking. The movement that would damage a broadleaf plant becomes a living design feature in grass. It's one of the most widely available ornamental plants at any major garden center, and on a high floor, it earns its place every single day. Number 7. Rosemary, Rosmarinus officinalis. The woody Mediterranean herb that gets more wind-resistant the more exposed it becomes. Rosemary is native to coastal cliffs and hillsides where salt-laden wind is a year-round reality, not a seasonal event. Professional rooftop farmers across the Mediterranean have grown it on fully exposed high-floor installations for generations, not as an experiment, but as a reliable, productive standard. What makes rosemary exceptional for wind exposure is its woody stem structure and resinous, needle-like leaves. The woody base anchors against mechanical damage from sustained wind movement. The resinous leaf coating seals moisture in, dramatically reducing evapotranspiration under dehydrating conditions. Research in urban horticulture confirms that established rosemary shows minimal leaf scorch or stem breakage at wind speeds that strip a broadleaf herb entirely. There's a practical return here too. A well-established rosemary plant on a wind-exposed balcony produces a generous harvestable crop once the root system anchors, usually within one full growing season. Rosmarinus officinalis is reliably hardy through USDA zones 7 to 10, though sheltered container placement can push that range a zone colder. Rosemary is sold at virtually every supermarket garden section in the country, sitting there underpriced and underestimated, waiting for a high-floor home where it'll outperform everything next to it. Number 6. Sedum, also called stone crop, the succulent that treats a high-rise wind tunnel like its natural habitat. Sedum is one of the most widely cultivated succulent plants in temperate gardening, and that popularity has a structural reason. Sedum species grow wild on exposed cliff faces, alpine screes, and rocky coastal outcroppings, environments where wind, drought, and temperature extremes are permanent conditions, not seasonal challenges. Research confirms that sedum's succulent structure, thick, water-storing leaves protected by a waxy outer coating, reduces evapotranspiration under high-velocity airflow to levels far below those of conventional container plants. Soil moisture retention becomes almost a non-issue when the plant carries its own water reserve in its leaf tissue. The low-growing rosette form keeps the plant below the wind's worst force. The shallow but dense root anchorage system grips effectively in the lighter, free-draining growing media that high-floor pots require. Seasonal color, star-shaped flowers from late summer through autumn, arrives without the feeding schedules and weather protection that higher-maintenance flowering plants demand at height. In the right pot on the right floor, a sedum planting manages itself. That alone makes it worth the few dollars it costs at any garden center. Number 5. Lantana. The heat and wind combination plant that outperforms everything else in summer at height. Lantana originates in tropical and subtropical regions where heat, wind, and intermittent drought are simply the climate, not weather events. Professional balcony landscapers in Florida, Texas, and California consistently specify it for exposed high-floor installations because it does something few ornamental flowering plants can manage. It produces continuous color under conditions that stress most alternatives into dormancy. Research confirms that lantana's drought-adapted root system and wind-tolerant foliage make it one of the highest-performing ornamental options for hot, wind-exposed container situations. The stiff, woody stems resist mechanical damage from sustained wind movement, while the small, textured leaves reduce the surface area that wind can act on, keeping evapotranspiration manageable even in the high-floor microclimate. If you're finding this list useful, if you're starting to see the pattern of what actually performs on a high floor versus what the nursery label says will work, hit that like button right now. It helps this video reach more apartment growers who need this information. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe so you never miss a video. Lantana is available at virtually every garden center from spring through summer, and in the right pot, it'll color your balcony from the first warm day to the first frost. Number 4. New Zealand flax, known botanically as phormium, the architectural statement plant that's genuinely bulletproof at height. Phormium is native to New Zealand's exposed coastal headlands and subantarctic islands, environments where wind is relentless and shelter is non-existent. Professional landscape architects specify it on exposed high-rise terraces across the UK, Australia, and the US West Coast, not as a decorative addition, but as the structural backbone of the entire planting scheme. A large, established phormium in the right position can also act as a natural windbreak for smaller plants grouped behind it, moderating the microclimate of an entire balcony container arrangement. Research in landscape horticulture confirms that phormium's strap-like leaves and dense fibrous root anchorage system give it exceptional resistance to both mechanical wind damage and the accelerated soil moisture loss that comes with high floor exposure. The leaves flex dramatically in wind without breaking, making it a dynamic visual element as well as a structural anchor. It's genuinely low maintenance once established, no deadheading, minimal feeding, and exceptional drought tolerance. Search for it specifically at larger nurseries. Once you place it on a high-floor balcony, you'll immediately understand why professionals reach for it first. Number 3. Agapanthus. The flowering plant that high-rise balcony professionals have quietly relied on for over a century. Agapanthus is native to the exposed coastal cliffs and rocky slopes of South Africa, where wind, heat, and periodic drought are ambient conditions. Professional rooftop and terrace landscapers across southern Europe, the UK, and coastal Australia have used it as a high-floor standard for generations, reliably productive in conditions where other flowering plants visibly suffer. Research confirms that agapanthus's thick, strap-like foliage and dense fleshy root system, which stores water, aids soil moisture retention, and anchors against wind movement simultaneously, give it exceptional performance in exposed container situations. The leaves flex rather than break, and the plant's drought tolerance means the accelerated evapotranspiration of a high-floor environment doesn't push it into stress. The payoff at height is substantial. Reliable midsummer flowering in vivid blue and white, no deadheading required between blooms, and a lifespan in a container measured in decades rather than seasons. Number 2. Yucca. The near indestructible architectural plant that most balcony gardeners overlook because it looks too extreme, and miss out on it because of it. Yucca is native to the desert regions of North and Central America, where heat, drought, and wind are permanent constants rather than seasonal challenges. Professional landscape designers have specified it on exposed urban terraces and rooftops for over a century, and the reason is straightforward. It's virtually impossible to damage with weather. Many yucca species are hardy from USDA zones 5 through 11 depending on variety, making them one of the most geographically versatile architectural plants in container gardening. Research confirms that yucca's rigid, spine-tipped leaves are structured to withstand extreme wind loading without breaking. The deep, drought-adapted root anchorage system grips into container-growing media with exceptional hold, and the plant's minimal water requirements mean high-floor evapotranspiration simply isn't a meaningful stressor. What most people miss is the visual impact at height. The bold, sculptural silhouette reads against a sky backdrop in a way that softer plants can't match. Yucca is available at most garden centers year-round, sitting quietly next to the impatiens and the begonias, capable of outlasting everything around it. Number 1. Sempervivum, better known as hens and chicks. The single plant that doesn't merely survive a high-rise wind tunnel. It quietly prefers one. The name sempervivum means always living in Latin, and that's not marketing language. Sempervivum grows wild on exposed alpine screes, cliff faces, and mountain ridgelines across Europe and Asia, environments where wind, freezing temperatures, poor thin substrate, and almost no reliable moisture are simply the year-round reality. These plants have spent geological time adapting to exactly what a high-floor balcony delivers. As a succulent plant, sempervivum shares the same core advantage as sedum, water stored directly in leaf tissue, but it takes that adaptation further into genuinely alpine extremes. Horticultural research confirms that sempervivum's dense rosette structure keeps virtually all leaf material low to the substrate and out of the wind's worst force, while its succulent moisture storage system makes it functionally unaffected by the accelerated evapotranspiration that damages every other plant on this list. The root anchorage system, though shallow, distributes across a wide, dense mat that holds effectively in gritty, lightweight container media. Studies prove it doesn't merely tolerate these conditions. Wind and drought are its natural triggers to spread, multiply, and produce new rosettes. Most sempervivum varieties are reliably hardy from USDA zones 3 through 8, meaning genuine alpine frost is not a concern. The practical reality is this: a pot of sempervivum on a fully exposed high-floor balcony in the right gritty mix with no overhead protection will produce new plants every season without intervention. It won't die from neglect. It won't die from wind. It won't die from a 2-week holiday with nobody home to water it. Every other plant on this list earns its place through toughness. Sempervivum earns the top position because on a high-floor balcony, it's genuinely in its element. It's available at virtually every garden center, often just a few dollars per pot, and it's almost certainly within 10 minutes of wherever you're sitting right now. If you made it through this full countdown, you now have the 10 plants that actually perform on a high-rise balcony, not the ones that look good at the nursery and quietly fail within a month of hitting a wind-exposed floor. The central point is simple. Wind at height isn't a version of ground-level wind. It creates a distinct high-floor microclimate, a different environment entirely, and it requires plants that were genuinely built for it. Hit that like button if this countdown changed the way you think about what belongs on a high-floor balcony. Drop a comment below and tell me which plant surprised you most. Are you Team Sempervivum? Team Phormium? Team Yucca? I read every comment, and I want to know what you're going to put in a pot first. And if you haven't subscribed to Grow in Small Spaces yet, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. We post practical content every week for people growing in apartments and high-rise spaces, putting real information in the hands of people who actually use it. I'd love to have you on this journey with us. Remember, the toughest plant for your high-floor balcony isn't always the one in the biggest pot at the front of the nursery. Sometimes it's the smallest rosette on the bottom shelf, bred by wind and rock to outlast everything around it.